They're always good to have you on board. Chat folks, how are you? Ask away. Any question you have. Like I see one right off the bat. I saw one to begin the show. I don't normally do this, but I'll bite here. Is that honeysuckle and fantasy football? Tom, what's going on with all the numbers?
That's YouTube. It ain't us. YouTube is now defaulting these things to people's individual channel handles.
Why?
And why does YouTube do anything? YouTube is this humanless presence that just decides to do things it decides to do, and there is no customer service area you can reach out to. And not that this isn't a specific to us issue. This is just what they do.
Yeah.
So everybody looks like their Twitter handles or Instagram handles now.
So Ian McGregor 1463, like he doesn't add that they just throw it in there.
No, YouTube. Well, this is what his actual account is with Google. That's what that's showing. But you can change the title of your account to a name that's different. So
like NoldDad77's always been NoldDad77.
Right.
He's still just NoldDad77. They don't have a bunch of numbers.
But he would have it capitalized and spaced, and it would look proper. And instead, they're defaulting to the channel name. Like, for example, there's somebody in the chat. I don't know what their handle was before I saw them this week, what their name was. But their YouTube account's name is @SexyRodriguez. And I'm like, I don't know who that was, but it might have been like Roger T, but now it's Sexy Rodriguez.
Well, I mean, I see where James B is now lowercase James B 0255.
I still laugh every once in a while about the old James P versus James B.
Oh, when I accidentally, and I was trying to ban James P.
Hey, can you help me, brother? I accidentally banned James B.
Yeah. Well, I was banning James P for egregious behavior, and James B tried to post right as I said, banish to hell. And I hit my button, and then I was like, oh, that was James B. He's been banished to hell. Meanwhile, James P is out here living it up.
I just kind of like we got to the place where some of the people who are on the chat, you have faux versions of the people that are on the chat.
Yes.
That amuses me.
Yeah. Well, it's a slow growth. It's happening. But Honeysuckle Fantasy Football 2390 says, hey, Jeff, should we be concerned that the Desir twins look so similar that it's the reason they are an entity and we subbed the wrong one in during the game? No.
Hey, the good news, Honeysuckle, is that's what the jersey numbers are for.
That's correct. But also, I think the area of concern would be, why are the Desir twins making such a massive impact in every practice as freshmen? This is less than ideal. I empathize with those of you who yesterday saw our first note of the day today, which is the story that happened after I was off the air, that Conrad Hussey had been dismissed from the football team, was no longer on the football team. And it added to the ledger of guys that you say, man, what in the hell? Another guy that gave us initial hope, that was part of a class, a prized recruit, if you will, from the 2023 class.
STA, St. Thomas Aquinas, man.
And now he's no longer here. He never developed. Add him to the list of guys we don't develop. And, what's hard is that you have new coaches here now on that side of the ball. So they can't be blamed. I view this dismissal as a good thing. I viewed it not in the sense that I have any ill will towards Hussey. I don't know him. I mean, I know of him, and I've asked him a question or two after a practice, but I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know what kind of guy he is. So I'm indifferent. I don't know. But I'm looking at it from a health of your program standpoint. And I know that a lot of guys last year needed to be shown the door based on effort or lack thereof. Guys that needed to, at the bare minimum, needed to be disciplined, needed to be told, that's not good enough. That's not the way we do it here. These aren't just words. It isn't just rhetoric. There is a real standard by which you're going to be held to. And if you do not meet that standard, bare minimum, you won't play. I may not kick you off the team, but you won't play. And a lot of guys got to play despite not meeting what any reasonable coach or fan or player would deem to be a standard, right? It wasn't like they were being held to something that was absurd. It was, can you give me effort? Can you show up on time? Can you be coached? And players repeatedly embarrassed themselves, let their teammates down. It flew in the face of the instruction and the coaching that they got, and they were allowed to go back out there and do it again. Time and again, they were allowed back out there to do it again. And what's that old saying about the definition of insanity? And we watched it play out every Saturday. Well, check that. Every primetime singular game that FSU was the only focus the country could watch on a Friday night, a Thursday, a Monday, a Wednesday, whatever it was, we were the one showing our ass, having it taken to us, and there were no consequences. And so I've liked that from the jump, Tony White, Atal, have been very, very specific about what the expectations are and what they will or will not put up with, what they will accept from a standpoint of you got a chance to play or not play, let alone you got a chance to be on this team or not be on this team. I mean, I feel like warnings have been given. I feel like certain things have been stated both behind the scenes that I know about, and then there are things we all know about because they were stated publicly in availability moments. So they're not fooling around, and you really can't afford to. You're coming off of 2-10. You cannot continually allow for things that are a detriment to the football team. And so, to me, this was a good sign. I would guess, I texted you this, there might be some other guys that don't make it through camp. We'll see.
There could be. Hey, man, now with the brave new world of rev share, you got 100 or 105, whatever it is. Maybe there's somebody else that you could go grab and give them a scally, because that's the rules are a little bit different than the 85 used to be plus walk-ons. This is a situation where in the offseason, when we brought up safety a bunch, I talked to you about my concerns. I still have concerns about the top level. Yeah. He was not on the top line of the safety depth chart, not even close at the point of the parting of ways. Every time Conrad's name was brought up the last year, I would normally go, I don't buy it. I don't believe in the likelihood that he's going to be a contributor. I hope that Tony White can reach him in a way that perhaps the previous staff did not, but that's I will believe it when I see it type thing. And if it was not only not moving forward, but a hindrance to the program, then good. More of this. I hope he catches on somewhere else and the message is delivered home at the point where there's a real consequence. Hopefully that's the case for Conrad Hussey in future endeavors. But if somebody is bringing this program down, you've got less than zero time for it. And Tony White wasn't just barking. There was some bite that came along with his statement earlier this week. Good. More of it. If it's necessary, don't hesitate. More of it, please.
Yeah, and again, don't get me wrong on this. I think that you end up, there's a big difference between a guy who is maybe a disappointment in that he's not the player you thought he would be. You know, there are guys who come in, high hopes, well thought of, stars next to their name, lots of them. And it turns out they're not able to transition. They're just not the player. They dominated in high school, but the transition in the college game has proven to be a little bit more difficult, and they're going to take longer to develop. And maybe it's just that they got to get bigger. Maybe it's that the defense they're running or the offense they're running now is a lot more complicated than the one that they ran in high school where they flourished. There could be lots of reasons. I mean, think about when you went off to college, any of us, how immature you were, and there were things that you had to adjust to being away from home for the first time. And some of us did it better than others. As I've gotten older, I've certainly never faulted kids for that. I get that. Transition can be tough. Some people are homesick. Some people struggle. There's a difference between that and somebody being a deleterious influence, somebody being a negative in the locker room, somebody not doing what they're being asked to do. Like you can weather all that other stuff if the person is diligent, if the person is working as hard as they can to become the player that we thought they'd become, if they're doing everything right. They go to class, they're at meetings on time, they're meeting the trainers when they're supposed to meet the trainers. They don't miss practices. They do all of the things. You're like, well, he's just not the player we thought he was. That's on the coaches. At that point, you did not evaluate properly, and you brought in a guy that perhaps isn't a fit. That's different. But if it's the stuff that we've seen from some guys where they don't do what's being asked of them, and they are a problem, and they do present issues in the locker room, and man, you just can't. There's only so much you can put up with, and we have entered into a day and age now where it's not like it used to be. Like when old Bobby Bowden used to step there in the family room, the living room of a kid from a rural part of the state or inner city even, or whatever it might be, and they sat down and maybe that kid was naive and the family was maybe not a two-parent family or whatever it might have been, right? They had some growing up to do. Their situation, their circumstances they weren't ideal. They weren't modeled very good behavior. And so Bobby would come in and put his arm around that mom or dad and or grandma or granddad and say, I got him. He's coming with me now, and we're going to take care of him. We'll teach him the right things, and we'll discipline him, but we'll also reward him, and he'll have opportunities he's never had. I got him. At that point, you've made a promise to a parent, and you've been able to kind of develop a relationship. So you might feel inclined to let some things go while we go through the process of learning what it means to be responsible to one another, to yourself, to your school. You might foster something that takes a little bit longer to where you don't turn your back by the time that, and just think he'll get there. He'll get there. As long as it's nothing egregious, we'll get him there. By the time he's a junior, he's going to be ready to play for us, and he'll understand the standard we're holding him to and why. It'll take a little bit longer, but we'll get there. Yeah, you'd be inclined to do that for all the reasons that I just laid bare. But no, professional football, baby. You're getting paid. You can get the hell up out of here. You want to make money? People want to make money? You want to get paid? No problem. Got it. Understand it. Even think it's fair. But be careful what you wish for, because here's how that works. Once you're paid, whether you're an employee or not, once you're paid, there's a standard by which how you earn that money, how you make that money. If you don't do those things in order to get those checks, you can be fined or you can be told to have a good day very quickly. And I think that's kind of the realm we're in now in college football, period.
And also, you're coming off of a season in which you're awful, just terrible.
Yeah.
How do you have time for it in that situation?
Well, you don't.
I almost understand it more if you're a wildly successful program and I really shouldn't. I don't know. All right, we're going to take a chance and see if we can make it work with this young man. Bring him into the fold.
You know why?
Because he could put us over the top and all that kind of stuff. And also, you believe that you have a culture that
That's
can
the answer,
absorb
Tom.
the issue.
That's right.
But when you go 2-10,
yeah,
what are you saving him for? Like, and I don't mean necessarily in the Hussey situation.
Yeah,
I'm speaking into the larger
picture.
point
Yeah.
now. Yes, for the reason that you enumerate, of course you should be more cold-blooded in this setting, because this is about pay. This is about compensation. It's not just about scholarly and cost of attendance. It's about, in many cases, six-figure salaries or more. So screw you. If you're not going to get to where you need to go, then we're not paying you. But if you go 2-10 and you're coming off a 2-10, I've got less time than ever before in the history of Florida State's football program. We should have less time than ever before for nonsense. And so hopefully this is the right step. But what's interesting to me is, Tony makes those comments and they're broad comments on a Monday. It takes a couple of days for this to happen. So I don't know if this is a shot across the bow to get everybody's attention. And so maybe some people that were on thin ice get another crack at it, or if this is the first of a few to come. It'll be interesting to see.
I think that ought to be sort of the norm, and they don't have the culture to withstand it, nor the time to put up with it. So this was what I was hoping for with a new set of eyes coming into your program. It was clear Mike couldn't pull the trigger a year ago for whatever reason. He felt he was held hostage. I don't know. I think it was wishful thinking on his part that guys who had played well for him before would come around and start playing well again. And because he had seen it in some cases, Patrick Payton's a good example. He had seen him play well before. So even though he wasn't playing well or giving effort at all, he thought, well, we'll get him to come around. We'll get him to come around. And I've seen what he can do when he does take responsibility, but he never did. And he continued to get opportunities.
And it's a truly confusing career because in 23, not only is he making plays, and yes, you can say it's because he's getting single opportunities, single man up opportunities.
Because he's on the other side, yeah.
But he's also doing detail things like, running to the backside of a play to go make a tackle 15 yards down the field, or he's showing incredible IQ and effort and will to go make an extra play. Like Peyton was extremely confusing as a career. He might have a solid season at LSU. Would not shock me in the least.
Surrounded by a ton of talent, sure.
But also doing little things. And you say, well, where was that? No, that happened here. So for a player like him, I can understand with Mike. But, I mean, in Hussey's case, he was a player for us 2 seasons ago. There was nothing material in terms of the way of development and improvement that happened last year. The safety job was open last year when Akeem Dent was gone. So, yeah, he was the 5th or 6th in the depth chart as it was. So for the immediate impact, there is none, which is sad because 2 years ago, the way that his career was trending.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You would have thought by 2025 he's one of your best players. It's just too bad.
Disappointing, but not a negative in the sense of what it means for this year. Maybe a negative in the sense that it continues a trend of guys that we brought in, highly touted, felt good about, haven't developed, never got anything out of them, or didn't get much out of them. That's problematic. That has to change. Of course, it is not necessarily relevant to this year's team in the sense of what we're focusing on and what they can be. When we get into the bigger picture discussions about whether or not Mike makes it, yeah, it's relevant. T-Spark knows how to work with insurance companies and help navigate the insurance process to help your home get back to full strength, to pre-claim condition, if you will, if you're suffering from damage done by storms. Just it could be a tree limb, like I have got one leaning right now. I may have to get this thing. Tom, am I foolish to believe that I can handle this tree limb on my own?
You could very well be. You were just telling me off the air about, your back's a little tight. I don't know this is the time to take on limbs.
Me and the limbs. I just don't want to hit I don't want to have to call T-Spark. Others do. At times they have to. I've had to before. I've worked with T-Spark. They got the job done. I don't want to have to call them again. I'm worried about it. But if you had such a situation develop, you should call T-Spark. When a tree lands on your roof and there is structural damage, a roofer cannot always repair that because it's structural. But with T-Spark, it's one call because you have a general contractor and a roofer all in one. That's a good thing. 850-766-1340. That is phone number 850-766-1340. And this time around, no, just to ensure that their license. Here's the number, CGC 152-5336, CCC 133-1204.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 133-1204.
Go custom with your window coverings with help from Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Budget Blinds brings their showroom to your home with dozens of color and pattern choices. Just tell them what you love and they'll make it happen. From designing custom draperies and Roman shades to color matching your blinds and shutters.
I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds Tallahassee, where you get beautiful style and expert service for any budget. Call 668-4835 for a free consultation online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 373031.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Kind of interesting. I was reading a bunch of coaches' quotes. Almost everybody is scrimmaging now, whether it be Power 4 or Group of 5. Everybody's out there now. We're getting closer and closer and closer, and it's exciting. And there's a through line there between the coaches almost in every league, but it's especially true for these Group of 5 coaches, Tom, because they lose all their good players instantly. There's no way to make it. Like, if you're good, you're gone. The Power 4 is poaching, and that's the end of it. And I thought, man, that's a tough way to live, man. We watch Mike do it voluntarily every year with the new roster. Go out and get, we're doing it again, and we're going to have to, as you've pointed out, do it again next year.
Absolutely.
Not ideal, man. This in perpetuity is not what you do.
Especially, I'm worried. I want to hear from Herb Hand. It's a week away. I want to know about that tackle battle that's going on in the second layer of the depth chart because, both of the tackles from this season are gone. And are we going to be spending a lot of rev share money, a lot of NIL money on offensive tackle in the portal? It feels that way, and at least one, maybe 2.
Yeah, certainly at least one. I haven't given up on Simmons yet, but
I haven't either. But the Desir, I feel like the ratio of Desir mentions and
you're telling me you think they're exploiting the backups.
Yeah, omissions about the backup tackles and Desir twin mentions. We got a problematic ratio going on here. Yeah.
Yeah, so a specific quote I was reading, I was thinking about it applying to us, although it need not, but it's where we're at, is the John Summerall quote, everywhere we all have a brand new team and a brand new roster. That's Tulane's coach. That's not just me, that's everybody. And then the article in The Athletic stemmed from 5 ways that coaches at the second level of college football are adapting to the portal era. And it's a whole new world. I've got a good player. I found it. He was a needle in a haystack. We developed him. He feels a sense of loyalty to us because we gave him a scholarship when nobody else would. Now he's great, but he wants to stay here. No, not in the world of you can be paid.
Well, the thing is, Group of 5 can opt into the rev share, and so they could go with a crazy ratio and say, do you want to make 1.2 at Alabama, or would you like to make 1.75 here at Memphis? What do you say?
You could go crazy that way.
And then you've got nothing else across your athletics because you're spending a lot on one player. Yeah.
Yeah. They did another, I didn't realize that we'd go from the tiers of segment groups and programs. What was it I cited the other day with David's article? Were we tier 9?
Oh God, I lost count.
Yeah, with the very
no disrespect to David, but I stopped paying attention at like tier 6.
Yeah, it was what it was, and they had very specific labels to go with it. They did one in the Athletic for quarterbacks, so I was kind of curious. Sam Kahn did this one, and I was kind of curious. Well, what are your tiers? Obviously, tier 1 is the most talented quarterbacks in the country with the highest ceilings. Okay, gotcha. Tier 2 was winners who have proven their mettle, can carry a team, have some limitations. Fair enough tier. Tier 3, most teams would be happy with a quarterback of this caliber, great ability and a solid body of work, but they have some flaws they overcome each week. On their best days, they can be very good, but there can be an underwhelming moment or two. Yeah, that's a lot of starting quarterbacks in college football. Like that's an overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
There are very few quarterbacks that you look at and say, oh, well, ticketed for the league.
Yeah, blindly, I feel like Castellanos could be argued to be in that tier. I don't know whether he is, but that sounds like a fair tier for him to fit in.
Tier 4 would be some are very young, unproven starters, but with high potential. Others are veterans who have flashed great talent at times, but had performance ups and downs. He could be in that tier.
Also fair.
Also completely fair.
Yeah.
Tier 5 is you've probably seen these quarterbacks before. Many have played well in college, but haven't put it all together consistently yet and bring some what ifs to 2025. Well, he kind of fits in that.
I don't think we've got too many tiers. That's those 3 tiers all kind of say the same thing.
Tier 6, these quarterbacks have a lot of question marks. There's some talent, so people haven't completely bailed, but a lot of question marks. And Tier 7 is largely unproven group with some decent G5 returning starts. All right.
We could have gotten that down to 5 tiers. Would you agree?
3.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get it down to 3 tiers. But the tier 1, I thought, okay, I can guess these. I'm going to guess Klubnik. Yes. I'm going to guess Nussmeier. Yes. I'm going to guess. I actually did this exercise. I was like, all right, who else would I put in tier 1 besides Klubnik and Nussmeier? Like, who's a guy that you're like, okay, when he's really good, and his upside is way up here. And Lenora Sellers is a kid that, he would be in this tier. John Mateer at Oklahoma, a lot of people believe he's in that tier. Maybe. Lagway, really good when he's healthy.
Yeah, the health part knocks him there.
But I think that there was a overly kind use of labels here for tier 1. Like Arch Manning is in that tier on Sam's list. Well, look, man, as much as I think that Arch Manning is likely to be very good, and what glimpses we've had of him, he did look good. And the pedigree suggests no doubt he's going to be good. He's done nothing in college football. He's done nothing.
Run more than he's passed.
Yeah,
in terms of impressive moments. You're like, look at him.
You can't know if he's going to be a tier 1 elite quarterback. I think he probably will be, but I mean, I wouldn't place him there to start the year.
If his name is Arch Smith.
Yeah.
Would he be? No.
Yeah, you wouldn't, right?
You'd be like, oh, that kid might be good. And he'd stop there. It wouldn't be, well, I mean, he's Arch Manning.
Tier 2 is the Carson Beck, Luke Altmaier, Haynes Kings of the world.
I like old Haynes.
I do too for what they run.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Haynes is a maximized player. Whereas Beck, Altmaier, and maybe some other guys, you go, I don't know if they're getting the most out of what they are. But with Haynes, I'm like, man, be all that you can be. I know that's an old Army slogan, but that's you, Haynes King. You are being all that you can be.
Ty Simpson is who I wanted to look up. Frankly, who I wanted to look up were quarterbacks that we actually play. I really didn't care where somebody ranked Preston Stone. Preston Stone's at Northwestern, if you don't know. I don't care, right? He's a transfer. We'll see. But Northwestern's largely not going to matter. So I didn't worry about that. But I wanted to see where they had Ty Simpson. They have him in Tier 4. He was ranked 47th. In Tier 4, We go back up to our trusty definitions here.
Oh, thank God.
Young, unproven starters in some cases with high potential. All right, not young, but unproven? Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Potential based on recruiting rankings, I suppose. That's a fair tier 4. But then I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. Who's around him in tier 4? Who's somebody that would be akin to a tier 4 player that we've seen play before? Jackson Arnold at Auburn is considered to be on that tier. You're like, I don't fear Jackson Arnold.
To throw it up. That's what he'll do.
There's the aforementioned Preston Stone, but how about Kyron Drones? He's in tier 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel
think
like
that's fair too.
he's discussed like he's in tier 2 on ACC Network,
but tier 4 is where he belongs.
But then there's reality, and the reality is dangerous in a given week, and it stops there.
Yeah, it's a full stop, is what you're telling me. Yeah.
I think old Tootin had a lot to do with the danger factor of Virginia Tech.
Tier 5 is where Tommy Castellanos landed. He is not too far removed from where Ty Simpson is. In that same area. There's a few guys like the kid at Memphis, Brendan Lewis. It's a transfer. The Calzada kid at Kentucky is on this list of those players. Taven Jackson at UCF is on that list of players as well. Byron Brown at USF is on that. They're all on that list. The great Tucker Gleason.
Oh, yes.
But that's the list. You're all right with that? You're all right with Tommy Castellanos coming in there?
He could have been at tier 3, 4, and 5, and it would have been fair because they all say the same thing.
They pretty much do.
Which is could be, might be, is he? Not sure.
The write-up was this, and I'll move on. Just comparing and contrasting the first week's starting quarterbacks. Castellanos was benched by Boston College last November and left the team before the end of the season. Now a Florida State program that desperately needs a culture reset is taking a chance on him and his former coach at UCF offensive coordinator Gus Malzahn. When you ask him to be a quarterback, he struggles, but if you get him going as a runner and allow him easy access throws, then he gets to be a confident guy and can really play, said one ACC personnel director.
Which is exactly what Gus's system is for quarterbacks.
Well,
it can be different things.
Exactly right.
But this is the Gus that we know. What he just listed out, the writer just listed out, is exactly what Gus will do.
It's why when I had my question marks and we had this conversation, I was always careful to add the caveat that they're running a system that is suited for what he does because the other part isn't good. So like that quote from the ACC personnel director that says when you ask him to be a quarterback, he struggles. Correct. But we're not going to ask him to be.
Right. Yes. It's as if you brought in Tommy and Mike didn't outsource offensive coordinator.
Correct. You'd have a problem.
If you brought in Gus and for some reason DJU was still here on campus, you'd go, yikes.
Wow.
But when you bring Tommy and Gus together, you're like, I can see it.
You can see what they're attempting to do.
I don't love it, but I can see it.
Right.
Yeah. It could work.
Yeah.
If you're going to try Gus's system, you need Tommy. And if you're going to get Tommy, you need Gus's system. So this is, they're at the hip.
Yeah, we could probably debate which players that are like Tommy that maybe I would have preferred instead of Tommy to run Gus's system. But
I would have thrown $2 million at Haynes King, see if he enters the portal. I would have tampered the hell out of that.
$2 million for Haynes King seems excessive.
You got 20.5 with the rev share. I would have.
It's Haynes. Jesus, man.
Hey, it's called the suck tax.
I mean,
it hurts.
$2 million for Haynes King.
1.5. Whatever.
Oh, good Lord.
You're going to have to overpay to get him to leave a stable situation.
And I like Haynes, but good God.
If you're going to run Gus's system, it's a good fit.
Yeah.
You could have thrown $2 million at Milroe to see if he comes back for another year. Not a big Milroe guy, but in Gus's system, excellent fit. Excellent fit.
I could just picture, hey, look, we're going after Robbie Ashford. $1.7 million. You're like, what in the world are we doing?
I would not choose this system, but if you're giving me the parameters that he's here, he's been signed, what do we do? I'm like, okay, we got to throw a lot of money at quarterbacks that I wouldn't want. But that's all right because they fit his system.
So it's pretty funny, by the way. I would hate this if I were a kid. I mean, I'd understand what's what. They also, in addition to the tiers, have a number next to their name, like where they rank out of the 100 and what is it now? 136?
It sounds right.
I think it's right. This poor bastard at Air Force is the 136th rated quarterback.
Oh, no.
Don't do that.
Oh, no.
His name is Josh Johnson. I was like, good God, man. You're just going in hard on him.
I am now hey now. I am now a humongous Josh Johnson Air Force fan.
I'll read what it says about old Josh Johnson, who's a 42% completion percentage and 3 picks.
Usually when they get to tiers down the line, they just put the names.
Johnson's sample size is extremely small with just 14 pass attempts. He's the only quarterback on the Falcons roster who's played in a college game. Air Force had one of the worst offenses in the country last year. Will likely turn to Johnson to help fix that. His speed should help in the run game. Extremely limited as a passer. He has 42% completion percentage in those 14 passes along with 4 picks.
This is okay.
But that's a toughie.
You're just looking at the numbers and saying extremely limited as a passer. Maybe the offense was cheeks. Maybe he's not extremely limited as a passer.
The offense was cheeks.
What I'm saying is I'm calling his bluff. I don't think he watched those 14 passes and then came away with his own. It's extremely limited as a passer.
4 picks out of 14 passes, I think you can deduce that.
You could deduce that he's running for his life on 14 dropbacks.
Well,
and they're in desperate moments. Maybe he's there in 20-point blowout situations and he's got to try something to be aggressive.
It's a toughie.
I'm going to defend the Air Force's Josh Johnson to the hilt.
I just know that some of the other kids, like Devin Cargman, who plays for Kent, who we'll see, is happy that Josh Johnson exists.
That's right.
I mean, it's just brutal.
Please be good, Josh Johnson.
Just brutal. Oh, I need a CBD gummy. Feeling terrible about Josh Johnson.
There you go.
Come on, Josh. Let's ease up a little bit with Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies. If you've tried a lot of ways to find peace of mind, it hasn't worked, maybe try one of these Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies for wellness, physical and mental wellness. The Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or a little relaxation. Formulated to help relieve discomfort and stress and sleeplessness, all products third-party lab tested, USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. If you want to get those or try them out first time ever, you're going to save a lot of money. Jeff Cameron Show listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant at checkout. cornbreadhemp.com/warchant. Use code warchant.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Overcast this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. High of 89, winds out of the south, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 76. Thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 92, a mix of clouds and sun. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 90 degrees.
For most families, your home is your biggest investment. That's why Joel Higgins built ACL Home Inspections, providing you thorough, precise, and efficient information with same-day, easy-to-read digital reports.
Probably one of the most common things that we find is a water heater drain line. It's meant to be plumbed a certain way, and a lot of the times in a retrofit situation where they replace the water heater is a different size. Lots of times they'll say, I had no idea, and it's the home that they live in, and they walk past these things every day. They're not even aware that it's a danger, much less that it's even there.
Protect your family's biggest investment. Call ACL.
Having your HVAC system operating properly is probably the biggest thing for high temperature events. So I always recommend a service agreement with a local HVAC company that will come twice a year and clean and service your HVAC system, and they can spot problems.
Call today, 850-312-8919.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com. for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. TheWaywardGent.com.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Lengthy article today. May have come out yesterday. I just read it today, so that's where we're at. Matt Baker writing about Florida State and Mike Norvell's efforts to get this turned around. It's a really thorough article, though, and it's good in terms of a timestamp to when things happen, how they happen, what happened, who's replaced some of that, whether it's personnel or coaching staff. I'm not going to go through the entirety of this article because it is long, which is fine, but you can do it on your own. Just want to make you aware of it. No Power 4 program. Here's a element of it, though. No Power 4 program has ever had its win total drop so much from one season to the next, meaning Florida State from 13-1 to 2-10. And the recent results of somewhat similar roller coaster rebuilds are mixed. Of the 11 other preseason top 10 teams to finish with fewer than 5 wins in the past 50 years, 4 rebounded to finish ranked the very next season. Thought this was a fun exercise. Florida State, obviously, number 10 to 2-10. Next record to be determined. We'll see what the final rank is and what the record is. 2016, 2017, famously, you remember Brian Kelly saying what he said, getting into yoga, changing his morning routine, sitting with the players, eating, talking, open door policy, the whole to-do. The 2016, 2017 Notre Dame team was number 10, went to 4-8. The following year, they went 10-3. Final ranking, number 11. Good God, if we found a way to go that route.
Oh, buddy.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes. Heady times.
We remember 2013, 2014, not just because Florida State was whooping ass, but because Florida wasn't. No, Florida was not. They were an afterthought, if you thought about them at all. They went from preseason top 10 to 4-8. The next year, they went 7-5 unranked. Arkansas, 2012, 2013. A team I had forgotten about being preseason ranked number 10.
This is Ryan Mallett years, right?
4-8. Following year, 3-9. Things didn't get better. Good night, Irene. Way back to 2000. Alabama. That's right, kids. Alabama wasn't always the forever in the mix for a national championship Bama squad that we see today. They were preseason top 10, and they were 3-8, followed by 7-5. 98-99 LSU was number 9 preseason, 4-7 year. They went 3-8 the year after.
Ooh.
89-90 UCLA. Tom was 3. They were number 9 preseason. They went 3-7-1 back when we had ties, kids. It existed. 5-6 the next year. Time to take it on down the road. LSU again, 89-90, number 7 preseason, went 4-7. They said, we'll get it fixed next year. They went 5-6. 1984-85. I remember the team. You do not. You were not alive.
I was unalive.
That would be Pittsburgh, the Pitt Panthers. Preseason number 3 in the country. Back when they had their own stadium on campus. Number 3 went 3-7-1. The following year, they went 5-5-1. They loved ties. 83-84 Southern Cal was number 8. They went 4-6-1. Turned it around and went 9-3 the following year. 76-77. Don't remember it. Got to admit. Arizona State was number 3. Went 4-7. Following year went 9-3. And then finally, the only other team to ever be in that same position, 75-76 Auburn was number 8 preseason. They went 3-6-2. They turned it around the next year by going 3-8. Oh, jeez. That's a tough run. Tough run. So the best case scenario is what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame, going 10-3 and turning it around from having gone 4-8. A revamped staff, 3 new coordinators, getting back to 10-3 in 2017. He won 54 of his final 63 games, made the playoffs twice before leaving for LSU after the 2021 regular season. So that is a total turnaround of one's career. About this close to being fired, called into the office, you're on thin ice. You go back-to-back seasons in which you win 10 games and you win 54 of your final 63 games, coach, after a 4-8 campaign. That's the hope for Mike Norvell. That's the hope.
Yeah, the sad thing is we had to bring Brian Kelly up when Jimbo was faltering. Can Jimbo revitalize himself the way that Brian Kelly did? Now, that ended very, very quickly, so it spiraled into a place where that was not going to be answered. But here we are again with another coach. Can Mike Norvell do what Brian Kelly did?
Mike did not embrace it the way, in terms of, like, these changes were very much about how the programs run, the people being brought in and the systems being brought with them. Maybe a little bit in terms of the evaluation of your portal players, which of course didn't exist at the time Kelly was turning things around at Notre Dame. There is a different set of circumstances now that even allowed for Florida State to fall off as hard as they did. It also allows them to come back quicker, perhaps, than most people could, given the portal exists.
It does. It also looks to me like the coordinators and the head coach have a handle on the situation. Now, this isn't even me trying to be optimistic. This is just watching them. It looks like they have a handle on the situation. They know they're not good enough, certainly not yet. They're anxious about the timing of the Alabama game, but they think they're building towards something that's stable and that can grow.
Yeah.
Like that they've pruned properly, and now we're just trying to foster that growth as much as possible, but we don't know that August 30th is reasonable for that time frame. That's the feeling that I get from them.
Okay, so that's a feeling you get. You don't think you can tie direct words to that end other than the sense of urgency they feel when they're talking about their respective segment groups.
And the work that needs to be done still yet here in camp. Like, it's a different energy than when Leonard Hamilton used to say, we're nowhere close to where we want to be. That was something he'd say in March. You know,
you're like, hey, man,
right?
Tournament starting.
We're about to tip it off in the second round. They just won their first round game. You know, we're nowhere close. We're by no means are we a finished product. Yeah, right. Like, I don't feel that way. I feel like they're all saying, all right,
yeah,
we're getting our arms around this. We got some guys that we believe in and that we trust. We need more of them.
Well, and they're still weeding them out.
Right.
Yesterday is a great example.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm talking in terms of building the second line of the 2 deep. Like, they think they've got some candidates. Mm-hmm. Sure, there's going to be disciplinary stuff to run kids off. Tony has been more of the disciplinary hand of the 3 at this point. But I think they all look at the 30th and they go, that's probably going to be a smaller version of our playbooks on the 30th. But we like the trend of where this is going as we get into ACC play.
Yeah, this is where it gets complicated, at least in terms of the relationship being built with the fan base and this coaching staff, who is still helmed by the same man who engineered 2-10. This is and 13-0. So I get it. The thing of it is, though, you understand that, I understand that, and I think that's a reasonable view of where they're at. But I wonder if the game itself ushers in feelings of great disdain and frustration because they're not where they need to be, even if we think they're going in that direction. That's the big test. And it shouldn't matter because, listen, whatever happens on the outside is the outside, and that's the noise that coaches talk about. But I do know it affects teams, especially on the heels of everything that happened. I got to imagine that, like, protecting your group and making sure that they don't read too much, good or bad, out of whatever happens in game one. Because the work will still need to be done. I mean, who knows? Let's say Ty Simpson comes in and gives you the help you need to win this game. He turns it over, completely blanks the bed.
3rd and 8, we're all kind of laughing in the stands, like, all right.
Like he's not ready for whatever reason. He showcases why it is he couldn't win that job over the last 3 years, despite being a high-ranking recruit. And he throws a pick 6 to start the game. The place is raucous. All of a sudden, Florida State's playing at this higher level, and they build a lead and hang on and win it. Like, let's say that scenario plays out. It wouldn't be crazy. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it wouldn't be crazy if it did. Then all is well. But what if it's not? What if it's you're not good enough, you're not deep enough, you don't have the talent that you need to beat the best teams in the country? And Alabama has, if you just look at projected NFL talent, they have a lot more than you do. That tends to translate in a sport where bigger, stronger, faster matters. So if you use that as the criteria and you say it plays out according to the NFL talent on the field, you could get buried. And I don't think that would be an indicator of the season you're going to have. But I do think it would elicit a response that would see people maybe off of this group because it's happening right after 2-10.
They'll come back if you get your stuff together by the Miami game. I think that
it's possible.
But you might just have to wear it for a few weeks because you have 2 nobodies in a bye week. That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough to overcome. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. This is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Attention all sandwich lovers. Café de Martín is bringing Peruvian fire to your lunch break with their all-new summer sandwich combos. Asado that melts in your mouth. Fried fish so fresh and crispy, it snaps. And smoked pork or chicken? Yes, please. Comboed with Peruvian fries and an iced tea for just $15. Available Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 3. Upgrade your lunch at Café de Martín in the Esposito Shopping Center. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callpauls.com. For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pauls can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the 7th Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, 7th Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The 7th Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash Update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Florida State football safety Conrad Hussey is no longer with the program. He was a four-star recruit in 2023. According to a report from Knowles 24/7, he has made the decision to leave the program. His freshman year, he had 22 tackles, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. However, in 2024, he ended up getting benched. Evidently, he had a falling out with the coaching staff, according to the reports. And now he is looking for a new college football home. At Florida Senior Center, Jake Slaughter, he has been named to the preseason watch list for the Lombardi Award. That goes each year to the lineman who demonstrates exceptional performance on the field. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Broker Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals. And it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
It's not just a drink, it's a vibe. Cool off all summer long with bold and beautiful cocktails from Café de Martín. Try the stunning berry champagne with flowers on top, a refreshing pineapple coconut margarita, and the all-new tamarindo sour, or our spicy cantarito. Available Tuesday through Friday for just $12.50. Take a trip to Peru this summer at Café de Martín in the Esposito Shopping Center. Online at cafedemartin.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Some men follow the crowd. Others take the long way, the wayward way. At thewaywardgent.com, we've curated the gear, gadgets, and grit every respectable man needs, from the fairway to the fire pit. We've identified the top-rated Amazon finds, so you don't have to. No fluff, just the good stuff. Visit thewaywardgent.com for the man who's not afraid to live a little off course. Thewaywardgent.com.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thursday, and the wagers shall flow. I can't wait to have that first day, and it's 1 week from tomorrow, right, where you're able to just pull up the slate, Tom, not a singular game or two, but the slate, and to say, oh, which of these beauties do I want to delve into, select, and wager with my audience for the purposes of charity, but also in my real life for money. Won't that be great?
A quick aside, just because you said the word beauties, remember that Bob Barker had Barker's Beauties as his assistants in The Price is Right?
Yeah.
Boy, how times have changed.
Thanks for that, sweet cheeks.
And Linda here is going to give you the putter for this particular game.
You all but said, look at fine-ass Linda, everybody.
That made its way well into the late 90s and early 2000s, did Barker's Beauties.
Yeah, man. Hooters still exists.
No, they're gutted.
They're filing for bankruptcy, but the one in Tallahassee doesn't exist. There's still Hooters around.
Yeah, I'm sure the one on Gulf to Bay is
I'm sure
doing
it's
fine.
flourishing. Yeah. Bunch of dudes rode hard, put up wet, and then walking in there, man. That
Dave, I didn't know you like to get high.
That first tall boy at 11 a.m. Been rough. Well, as it stands now, the Iowa State-Kansas State game sees Kansas State at -3.5, if you must know, and that is a top 25 matchup. So, kid, if you like, I'll stay up. I'm watching Stanford, Hawaii.
How much? Well, no, that game's reasonable on the East Coast. It's 7 or 7:30.
Yeah, that's right. They switch. Yeah, that's right. It is
so
7:30.
It's early out in the land of several of our viewers here on Warchant.
Damn it, Stanford! You're an underdog to Hawaii.
How many? Do you have the countdown clock to the kickoff? I
Yeah.
think you're going to get a good number.
Oh, what, the 9 and 23?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah, the way I do it.
Okay, sorry.
No. This is the one time I'm being a hypocrite, because normally I choose the lower number and don't even divulge the 22 hours that's still out there. But that's exactly what Tom's referencing. Guys, by the way I've done it with the countdown clock, we are 9 days. 9 days and 22 hours, 50 minutes, and 57 seconds away from the start of college football. Say 9 and not 10 or 11 or 13 or 52 really is a wonderful, comforting feeling, is it not?
I'm tailgating for that. It's happening. It's real.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm pub crawling.
Well, you're going to be out of town.
Yes, I will be pub crawling beginning at 9 a.m. sharp ahead of the noon kickoff. I'll be going to bed early that day. I don't know that I'll make it to Stanford, Hawaii. It's going to be an early day. I'm very excited for this.
You've got to maintain. Here's the thing. You're pub crawling. I know where you're going. You're pub crawling, and you're not having to, obviously you're not having to drive. You wouldn't pub crawl if you were driving.
Correct.
So you actually can just sustain a level of buzz that gets you all the way through till about 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, the thing
it's
is,
hard, though. It's hard to do.
I will be
you're so excited.
but I will be traveling back home the next day, and I want to get on the road around 4.
You want to
5.
function. You want to function.
Yeah, and I want to be able to, to get on the road at 4 or 5 the next day. You probably need to shut it on down, get to bed by like 8:39 if you're going to have a big time, which I plan to do. So
now I'm ready. Yeah, tailgating. What am I going to grill on that day? Did I tell you that I've become an expert air fryer?
Welcome to, now this is a land that I can speak to. I'm very good in the ways of the arts of the
I can air fry with the best of them these days. All walks of life. Anything you want, I can do it on the air fryer. Now, there are some things I still want to grill or use the cast iron or whatever it might be. But there are some things with the air fryer, you're like, well, that's really good.
You can nail most things down. You're right. Now, if you want to sear things, of course, you got to go and outsource. You can't do it. But I've gotten strip steaks down on the air fryer to a delightful science when it comes to the temperature. I know exactly what I want to do in terms of letting it sit, letting it go back in, all that kind of stuff. I do have the toaster oven model of the air fryer, though. It's a little bit different than your standard air fryer.
Right. Yeah.
So it's got there are a couple of gizmos that change just a little bit.
The gizmos are key. Air fryer pork chops, chicken nuggets, reheating pizza, and all that says. All right. Yeah, I experimented with, of all things, this morning very early with register sausage in the air fryer.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Have you ever done sausage in the air fryer? In the air fryer was a key part of that sentence.
Sorry. Yes, and then also I find bacon to be the best thing to put in the air fryer because
crispy without the grease.
Yeah, well, without the cleanup.
Yeah,
yes. So I line the basket with a Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil, and then at 4 minutes at 400, I flip the strip of bacon, and there you go.
That seems like a long time.
It comes out perfectly, and I would rather spend the time smelling the deliciousness than cleaning up a stupid pan with bacon grease. It's a total worth it trade-off.
Would you watch a college version of the NFL Red Zone if it were college?
In the day and age where I have YouTube TV and now you can put 4 games of your choosing on in the 4 corners, I don't know.
That quadrant is a big deal. Like picking those 4 games. Especially, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I have a 100-inch television.
Right. Yeah.
So the 4 games are like sizable games. I can see what's happening in those 4 games. The quad box is a big deal.
Yep.
But I will admit that on the non-specific games, like games that I didn't care to see how a game was won or lost, but I just needed to know for betting purposes if a game was won or lost and by how much, I would like a college football red zone. So here's
BYU, Oklahoma State down the stretch. Like, ooh, hang on a minute.
Man, put that sucker over there in the red zone.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring it up is because ESPN acquired the rights to the red zone brand. And it's part of their blockbuster deal with the NFL. And there's a lot of talk about what the network will do in order to be creative with the red zone, and we'll see if they add to what it already is for the NFL. But a lot of people brought up the idea of applying whatever that is beyond the NFL and creating a red zone for college football. Now, Scott Hansen, for all his goofiness, does an amazing job for the NFL's red zone.
It is not easy.
No, It's not easy at all. And he's a cheese ball, but it's required of you in that job to be that way. The other thing that the thing I'm most impressed about with Scott Hansen is that he knows every player on every team. So when the third string tight end catches a touchdown, he knows exactly who he is, where he came from, and it's on the fly. So he's memorized the rosters, and it's very impressive. You couldn't do it in college. There's too many teams, too many players, too many unknowns. It would be so difficult. Like, all right, Jeff, listen, we're about to cut over. We're cutting over right now. Tulane is in the red zone against Bowling Green. Okay. 37 caught that for a first down. Like it would be tough.
No, I think you would just MC it and then let the broadcast tell you what happened and then pull back and transition in and out. And then you could say after the play-by-play guy informed you that young man's name was Hunter Brown, that you're like, well, what a hell of a play there by Hunter Brown.
Right.
Fantastic.
Right.
We now go to Ohio.
Yeah, that's how you would have to do it.
Here's the finish for Ohio, East Carolina.
Well, it got brought up again because the commissioner, Roger Goodell, accelerated all of these conversations. He went on SportsCenter and said that the Purchase Red Zone name can be used for other sports if ESPN wants to do it.
That was part of the deal, as they paid for the right. Yeah, and I see it in the chat. Wasn't ESPN goal line like that for right? Yeah, in order to pull this off properly, you'd have to make sure that all conferences are in.
All conferences.
I think this would open the door to further discussions about the oligarchy of media rights getting together for different reasons. Because if it's only ESPN property games, you're leaving out a lot of important football games in the red zone equation.
The other problem is, of course, the red zone promise is every touchdown from every game. You're not going to be able to do that for college football. Every touchdown for every game, not happening.
You could do the power zone, and you've got the power 4 red zone, and you could do every touchdown from every game in power 4 football. Absolutely, you could. But you can't do the D1 red zone. Like, no way. Good luck.
The NFL controls its deals with every network, which allows Red Zone to exist. Fox and CBS executives begrudgingly live with the show because every subscriber means one less fan watching Fox or CBS broadcasts. ESPN controls its deals with the games it has the rights to, which means a great Big Ten game on CBS, a massive Notre Dame game on NBC, or the Week 1 game of the year on Fox's Big Noon Saturday potentially won't be part of the whip-around coverage, defeating the purpose of that red zone.
There it is.
I thought it was convenient that they ended up that one of the polls had Ohio State 2, because Ohio State was 3 in the other. So by having them 2, Big Noon Fox hits a home run right off the bat. They're like, we got 1 versus 2, baby.
Yep. Yeah.
Here it is.
I feel like there's usually a nudge in that direction in order to make sure that the hype machine can go as far as it wants to go. I think that we're setting the stage, though, for in 5 years' time, whenever this sport is reorganized into the haves and the have-nots, that you'll have your red zone at that point. And there it is. But in this moment, because of the infighting, you don't get enough representation on a red zone broadcast. Just use your quad box that you can create on your own. It's that simple in YouTube TV.
Yeah, I wish you could create, because what I would do is I have the quad box on the 100-incher. I'd have another quad box on my recently purchased giant-ass iPad. Have you seen the size of the new, bigger screens on the iPad?
No, I have not.
They're fantastic.
Okay.
So I'd have that next to the quad with a different quad.
iPad.
I'd have quads all over the house. We'd be quadding the hell out of this thing.
So
I'd have a quad next to the quad, and then when I went to the kitchen, I'd look at the quad that I had set up in there on my laptop. Then the other television that's in the family room would have the quad, and I would see the other quad when I got to the back where my bedroom is, and I had the TV set up on the quad there. I'd have, 20, 24 different games on at one time.
I really believe in and I'm a multitasker at heart. There is a Park Your Ass Saturday or 2 every season, which are very special. But at the most, 5 to 6 games in any window of interest. Like, I get that betting makes them all interesting, but just watchability scores. 5, 6 at most. I think 5 is the best number. So what I will do in that scenario, I've got the 75-incher, not quite 100-incher, but I don't have a Florida room. I've just got a normal-sized room.
That is true.
So I go 4K on that one. Whatever is the 4K game, because I pay the extra.
You're a 4K snob. I'm a 4K snob. We both pay the extra.
It makes a difference, too.
It does make a difference. There's not enough in 4K.
You get 3 games a week in college.
4K has been out for 10 years.
Yeah.
What in the hell are we doing?
Yeah. You could get Fox Big Noon Kickoff, but you'll never get your Fox NFL Sunday in 4K. That makes no sense. Little to no sense. So I watch whatever the 4K game is. It's usually Big Noon or the ESPN featured game. And then quad box on the 55er to the right of it.
Yeah.
And usually you don't have a need for more. I don't feel like, I've got to make a choice between this game or that game. 4 or 5 games in a window is about right.
You're not betting enough. There is always a need to have another. There are so many games by which to gamble on. You can have them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feel. You can go on and on and on.
Which one would I choose?
Yeah, there are so many amendments. Yeah, you can. You can just every game. I'm like, oh man, look at this. So as we were talking about whether or not there'll ever be a college football red zone, I see Swiss Irish. How are you, sir? You're nervous about the Bama game? Just now realize we play Alabama week 1. I would point out that if you are nervous or despondent about the idea that Alabama is going to throttle Florida State, it means that you've spent the summer in denial as to who our first opponent is. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. Let me just differentiate there. I am not assuming that it's going to happen, but I've always allowed for the distinct possibility that it does. I have not gone blindly into these summer days thinking that there's not a chance Alabama beats the bejesus out of us. I've thought there's a real good chance Alabama beats the bejesus out of us. There is very little chance that Florida State beats the bejesus out of Alabama. I can promise you that. So if we're looking at extreme results, not for 1 second have I thought that Florida State was going to be on the right side of a 24-point game. That said, I also don't know that it's going to be a 24-point game. It could very well be tied at 17 in the middle of the third, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I go into this game because it's week 1 with hope, but it's also, you're looking at Alabama's track record under DeBoer, and you're saying to yourself, he's vulnerable. At least he's shown in his 1 year that this program is vulnerable to a letdown or a road clunker, a performance away from home. That's total clunker. And I have a little bit of hope in that situation. I mean, we were touching on that at the end of last hour. is the viability of Florida State's chances. And then what do you want to see? For me, whatever we decide to run, whatever percent of the playbook that is, I'll allow for the fact that it could be 60% on defense
Severely
and maybe
minimized,
80% on offense.
Just run it well.
That's it. No craziness from a quality control standpoint, pre-snap penalties, none of those mindless things that would evidence that you're not a tightly run ship behind the scenes. That's what I'm looking for first and foremost. From there, let's get into the competition of it and see if there's variance in week 1 that puts us in a position to be in this game. If not, score the upset in this game. But the number one thing that I need to see is whatever you choose to do, please run it smoothly beyond the norm of a week 1 where you have some weird stuff.
Yeah.
But like, let's not see 4 false starts, right? Or illegal formation lined up in the backfield. Like, please, guys.
Here's the one thing that I'll say, though. Yeah, I agree with you. That
Timeouts for substitution problems.
Just dumb stuff. Yes, they were an unmitigated mess. There's no doubt. There were so many contributing factors beyond the losses last year to add to your angst. I got it. And you'd like to see all of that go away. You'd like to see a buttoned-up approach, even in a loss. Like, give me something
that's the first pecking order for me. Yes.
Yeah. My fear, and again, I've said this over and over and over again, that my fear is that game is not indicative of what Florida State is or will be as the season goes on, but the result will certainly resonate in a way that suggests that people are done. And that's why behind the scenes, when you talk to money people and we talk about the importance of what's going on with Mike right now, the status of this program, all of the money that's been sunk into the construction, not just on the stadium, but on the football only facility. Like, it's a hell of a venture that they're invested in here, and you need wins to buoy that and to sustain that and to keep the literal investments in that afloat. Right now you're operating at a deficit. You're going to continue to operate at a deficit. You can't aid that situation to the negative by going out and putting a product that is substandard on the field and losing by a gazillion. But I think you could go out and lose significantly, and it may not be representative of where the program's headed. Like, long-term, Florida State's going to end up in one of the big 2 conferences. How soon? Well, I don't know. Sooner rather than later would be nice, because then you could operate with a much grander budget and have a shot at putting together teams that compete at a much higher level with the best of the best, which right now you're hampered in doing. And then the other part of it that I worry about is I don't know what their collective mindset is. I know what the coaches would want, but I don't know what the players are. And this is going to be a very unique year in college football. And this isn't only reflective at Florida State, but it affects us differently because we're coming off of 2-10, and many of the other programs that will have this problem to deal with are not. And so it would just be insult, injury to insult. And others would be experiencing it for the first time. And that is this. A lot of teams, most teams in the SEC, most teams in the Big Ten this year, front-loaded their payments to their players, right? They gave the money. That is to suggest that the players have already been paid what they're getting for the year. So all of the money was up front. So why do I bring that up? Well, it's going to be fascinating to find out which of these teams play hard when their dreams are stripped, when they lose. What if LSU loses their 2 big games early in the season? What if Florida loses or Miami loses the first couple of big games they play? And they all have big ones early in their year. Do the kids that have already been paid out lay it on the line for the next 8 games, for the next 9 weeks? We'll see. I suppose some will, some won't.
Yeah, that's a fair betting insight. Just something to monitor in that situation. That, yes, if something is starting to spiral, do you just bet the spiral across the board in 4 circumstances and hope that you win 3 out of 4 in that moment?
Well, in the case of Florida State, you could greatly benefit. Now, this is a betting angle, and people are not interested in that because they're interested in it with their heart is invested emotionally into the team and the program and where it's headed. I understand that. But if they've righted the ship culturally, then they won't be the team that Vegas thinks they are, even if they lose by 30 against Alabama. And you can get over on the next several spreads that Florida State has when they play teams of note.
Yes, and what limited knowledge I have of Florida State's behind-the-scenes work before the House settlement, I don't know of front-loading in the limited knowledge that I have. Not at scale. Not at some kind of crazy level.
Not in the same way that's been done at most schools who are buttoned up.
Well, again, limited knowledge. I can speak to what I speak to, but I don't think we did that in mass. I don't think so.
Well, there are reasons for that we won't get into. But I would say that that's going to be fascinating.
But that can benefit you.
It could end up benefiting you. It will be fascinating to watch because, again, watch a team like an LSU or a Clemson, but I think Clemson's going to have a tremendous year. By the way, it just pisses me off looking over at Clemson. They got the best defensive line in the country, and then you look as to where they got the players from. Well, this is in recruiting. We talk about their recruiting level not being elite. Yeah, but they went in and plucked 4 and 5 stars out of the state of Alabama. We don't do that. Anyhow, back to this. So
it's a trailing effect. Next 2 or 3 years will be the telltale on that.
Well,
it's a recent thing that's happened to them in recruiting. You're not going to feel that yet.
No, you're not. And I bet it's not sustained because what will happen is when they win and win big, they'll be back to recruiting.
They'll hit the portal because God told Dabo it's okay now.
Well, at least that's what he'll claim. But I would tell you that that again, I think that you'll watch a lot of teams go through the dramatic swing that Florida State just went through. At the time we were going through it, nobody wanted to hear it. I understand it when it's happening to you. You don't really care that it's also going to happen to Jerry next year. You're the one getting screwed. Jerry, great. I'll laugh at Jerry a year from now. I told him it was coming, but he didn't know. Here I am wearing it right here, right now. Don't tell me about Jerry. So I get that, but that is true. I think that there are a lot of schools in for a eye-opening experience in the same way that we watched it play out, much to our horror. Now, what I hope is that if it doesn't go well, and we don't compete at a high level with Alabama, that they are fixed here. They've got the culture righted, because then you're going to see all kinds of crazy numbers where we'll be an underdog by 17 to Miami or something like that. And then you're like, okay, all right, we're not the team that you think we are, because you're basing that on the loss against Alabama and what happened a year ago.
Oh, you'll have 28 days, 27 days before you play Virginia after the Alabama game's over. It's insane.
Yeah.
The schedule is insane. It's an inverted bowl game that you're playing. That's the way it lays out.
Fascinating to me. Fascinating to me to see how this plays. But you'll have to really do your homework to find out who is locked in, who's invested, who won't let the result of a game sour the next 10, the next 8.
Yeah, let Notre Dame bludgeon Miami that Sunday of the opening
week.
And
let's see how invested they are.
And us have a good first half against them when they come up here and see what decision they make at halftime. Yeah, absolutely.
There's good. There are angles to this football season, not just for Florida State, but for the game itself, like this precarious position that college football finds itself in, and for us to navigate as fans and bettors. It's going to be a fascinating week to week. Like, Tom, I know they don't look like it, but that team out of Utah mailed it in. Apparently, there's an uprising. We got it.
I'm telling you, the common man who doesn't do power ratings has never been more capable of getting it right than this moment in this era of college football, because there isn't a chart for this.
Yeah.
There isn't a predictive model. There isn't an FEI that you can go lean on and say, well, in the case of 67% turnover on the roster, here's your trend. No, man, there's nothing. There's nothing like that.
Pitch Petty Pools and Spas have everything you need for pool maintenance: chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they got it. Of course they do. Hey, if you've got a hot tub that's worn down, in need of replacing, they'll come out, pick it up for you, haul it away, give you some money for it towards your next Hot Springs, premium Hot Springs hot tub. And now Hot Springs is involved in the cold plunge industry, making these tubs en masse for you to purchase as well. And it's affordable. And I like the size of the cold plunge tubs. They're not so big. They don't take up all the space on your deck. You got a little room to do some things there. You could cold plunge right next to the grill. You could do it all. They have them over there. Go check them out. The health benefits are real. Off of Greer Road, massive warehouse. Pitch Petty Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Budget Blinds of Tallahassee is your local window covering experts. They do it all: blinds, shades, drapery, shutters, even home automation. And they'll be there with you from the design to the measuring to the installation. Budget Blinds is with you every step of the way.
Hello, I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Let us help you with your unique window treatment needs. Call us at 668-4835 for a free in-home consultation, or find us online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Services, Compass to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, Compass to call away.
Is your home ready for anything? At Parker Services AC and Electrical, we do more than just keep you cool. We keep your whole home running smoothly. From AC maintenance and duct cleanings to whole home generator installations, we've got everything you need for comfort and reliability. Join our Peak Performance membership to keep your HVAC system in top shape and catch issues before they turn into costly repairs. And with a reliable generator, you'll never be left in the dark again. Call Parker Services today, where comfort is just a call away.
Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
Model license number CMC 050334 and EC 1301240.
I got some pretty spooky news from my Paul's termite and pest control technician the other day. It turns out that I'm sharing my home with Formosan termites. Those little monsters do damage about 4 times faster than the regular termites. Fortunately, Paul's discovered them on a routine general pest service, and they've already turned the Formosans back using an amazing treatment called Centricon.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader in this non-invasive treatment. Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations. These stations are placed around the home. Termites are present, they feed, and take it back to the colony, which is then destroyed. To learn more about Centricon and a free consultation, go to callpauls.com for the elimination of termite or any other pest.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying, or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Swiss Irish. Just want to say that couch behind Tom looks comfy as hell. It is. I go sit on that couch and talk with Tom sometimes during the breaks, and I don't want to get off of that couch. That's the imprint of my ass that you're looking at there on that couch. I go over there. We discuss whatever it was we were just discussing and or might be discussing, or if I have a question about something to do with behind the scenes. But there's the couch. There it is right there. I almost stole that couch. I was like, Tom, I knew John was, we're doing so much stuff around here right now.
Yeah, that's one failing that we had at the 4-letter. We never had a couch, ever. In all the years that we were working, and by we, I mean me too, working late nights at that place.
Didn't have a couch.
Not a single couch. I would prop up 2 chairs like I was some sort of old-timey sheriff in the Old West in the jail, monitoring the jail, taking a nap.
Tough times to be an old-timey sheriff. There's a good chance you were going to get killed.
That's right.
By randos, and it would never be solved.
Enjoy your nap. Could be your last.
There's something weird about
at my Patriots
knowing that I'm out in the Wild West and that I'm trying to perhaps do the right thing, although all of those guys were crooked. And I'm trying to do the right thing, and that I could just die, and nobody would solve the case. There was no real way to solve the cases. They're like, oh, sheriff's dead. Somebody shot him. Sure did. What are you gonna do?
It's yeah, it's like Dumb and Dumber. Well, see you later.
Yeah, that's just like, that's it. Somebody rode off on a horse in the dead of night. We have no idea. Who knows? It could be anybody.
It was his wife from a town over.
He
had another family.
Yeah. You have no way of knowing. It's just you're just kind of like, well, I guess Keith is dead. Is there any concern for the depth at linebacker position for this season? If so, how front load is the depth chart? That's from Brock. Thank you, Brock. I don't know how many years in a row I've been concerned about the depth at linebacker or overall talent at linebacker. I have been very concerned for a long time about linebacker play at Florida State because I'd like to hold it to a very high standard, given that my favorite player in Florida State history is a linebacker. And there was a time where every year we rolled out there with some bad sons of bitches playing linebacker. And now if you just get a modicum of decent play out of linebacker, you're like, well, he's trustworthy. The standard is so low here at linebacker. It's nonsense.
Here's a great tailgating game. In the last 10 seasons, name the 10 best linebackers at Florida State.
Awful.
It's at number 10.
Not good. Not good. It's like us trying to name all the prolific wide receivers we're putting in the NFL.
Yeah. Yep. You know, that always gets me. I always go, yeah, exactly.
So look, man, I don't think it's a good sign that Blake Nicholson, who was a high 4-star when we got him, is never mentioned. And I don't, other than getting run over in the stuff they post online, I don't ever hear anything about him anymore. I mean, I guess I have some hope that, well, I will tell you, Elijah Herring has been a very productive college football player in his career. He tackles. He's a tackling machine. I think he'll be a productive player for him this year. But, look, it's not good. It's Justin Cryer. It's Omar Graham. It's eventually, I think, Caleb Lavalley will play at some point. But he's awfully young, and I don't think he's ready yet. A.J. Cottrell, come on, man.
Yeah, Norvell was talking up John Papuchis, who went home to coach linebackers. This is a position group that he has coached for a long part of his career prior to getting here to Florida State.
Yeah.
And Ernie Sims. He gave shout-outs to both coaches today, saying that they've done a very good job preparing the guys that they do have, which include, yes, OG and Juice Cryer and Elijah Herring, Stephon Thompson as well. Finally caught some praise the last few days. He spoke to the media today as well. You probably have 4 or 5 at most that you can rotate at that second level, which also makes it very interesting to see. I know the jack position's a little different.
Yeah.
That's a crossover position.
Well, that's James Williams, right?
And also Amari Williams said today that he will be playing in the jack role on 3rd and 4th downs, passing downs, that type of stuff.
Okay.
So that's good. In addition to his tight end work, he'll be a specialist. Kind of an oddly specific thing for us to get from a player during a camp, but it was good to hear. But at that traditional linebacker level, yeah, you probably got 4 guys you like right now. Unless A.J. Cottrell's in that mix, and maybe that's 5.
And I'm not trying to dog the kids. I'm just talking about the caliber of player that you've brought in at that position has not been, in my estimation, to the standard of what Florida State should be. But I feel like we're having that conversation all the damn time. You know, that's true. You could say that about almost every position on the field right now. I mean, it's not just linebacker. That's what leads to the maddening frustrations is that, like, God almighty, you're going to develop and find some kids here that are any good? Like, what are we doing? And this is the biggest criticism to Mike. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Maybe. I'm hopeful. When you talk about being hopeful, I'm just hopeful that I got along swimmingly with Adam Fuller. My interactions with Adam were professional, enjoyable. Our conversations, I thought he was insightful when we would talk. I thought he was kind of interesting. He was a weird cat, but an interesting guy. But I hated his defense. And I thought we sucked at running it. And they didn't do a very good job of teaching it. And balancing those two things was really always very difficult for me. Because to talk to him and to listen to him, you'd think we'd be better. And yet we weren't. We had a lot of guys who looked caught in the middle, very indecisive. It was just time and again a group that was a step slow. And I was always trying to figure, is that, because listen, obviously there are exceptions. There are pockets of time like that 23 team that was so good because you had 10 NFL players on that defense. You had so many guys that, good Lord, we just want 2 players can change your entire defense. If you want proof, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse. It changes everything about who Florida State is and was that year. Nobody could block them. Nobody could block them. They changed the line of scrimmage. They changed the amount of time you had to throw. They changed the math. They changed everything you could call and couldn't call. There were other good players on that defense, obviously, but it started with those 2 dudes being elite. And then to find out that they weren't just elite, they're elite to the point where one's the defensive rookie of the year in the National Football League and the other's in contention.
Yeah, a guy came in 3rd. Yeah, at least in the live odds. Yeah.
So you had 2 players who were the most impactful, 2 of the 3 most impactful defensive newcomers to the entire National Football League. That's a league filled with bad sons of bitches. All kinds of guys that are crazy to deal with athletically, preternaturally strong, that can do things that you can't teach, that forego technique because of strength, like do things that you would never teach. Those 2 guys changed everything about that defense, and so some of the numbers bear out as being very, very good. But I kind of feel like that was the outlier because all the other years, his defenses didn't play well. They weren't good. And we could never do anything more than the one thing we did. Like we were terrible at teaching zone. We couldn't, executing time and we could not produce turnovers to save our life.
Yeah, we couldn't communicate.
Well, couldn't communicate. They weren't coordinated, for Christ's sake.
I'm talking about communication from the coach to the player.
Right.
It's fine that a lot of times I remember Dominic doing all 22s from the 2022 season before going 12-0. And he's like, it's a great call. Guys just either a step late or won't finish.
Don't know how to do it. Don't know how to do it.
Doesn't trust their training. It's a great call. Now he panics here because he doesn't trust his training. Yeah, so,
that was my point about the fact that he knew football, Tom, and but he could not translate that knowledge in an effective way to get kids to execute it on game days unless they were freaks. Even Jerrion Jones is now, getting paid in the NFL and playing well. It took him a while, but when he figured it out, all of a sudden you had an NFL guy there to go along with the other NFL guys. Yeah. Renardo Green, who suddenly became one of the best corners in college football.
And I was a broken record during the time. I know he was a little up and down, but Akeem Dent was a humongous piece and stabilizer to that defense.
Yeah, very frustrating. So here's my hope, and I know we got to go to break. My hope is that Tony is a much more, along with the other coaches on that side of the ball, much more effective at teaching, at getting kids to do what they're asking them to do. My concern, I think, will be very different when they don't have success, it won't be because I don't think they can communicate or because they can't teach it. It'll be because they're just not good enough. They're not big enough, strong enough, fast enough. They don't have enough depth
or experience.
Yeah.
They make mistakes that a young player would make.
Right. But I'd rather live with that.
Doesn't it give you hope, though, that it sounds like he's more than happy to toss people aside to get it done what he wants to get done?
Pretty obviously.
Yeah.
He's literally tossing people aside, telling them to get the hell up out of here.
I think that also means that some people are getting it. Because if you had nobody to turn to, you wouldn't do it.
Well, a perfect example of that is Shaheem Brown. Every single player in the secondary is talked about except for Shaheem Brown. Ever. Never talked about. I don't even know if he's second string at this point.
Doesn't sound like it.
I don't think he is.
No, if you were to list, played this game yesterday with Ira.
Ashland Barker would be ahead of him.
Edwin Joseph, Ashland Barker, KJ Kirkland for sure. And Earl Little's your rover. So there's 4. Was it Hussey? Was he next up?
I think he probably was. And I would just tell you that Kai Bates is in that conversation.
Because they have cross-trained.
They have cross-trained. So you can, man.
Christian White. I mean, really, we're getting to walk-ons before you get to Shy or Hussey. That was the context of the discussion we had was like those 2 dudes are 5 and 6. I mean, that's the third line of the 2 deep. And Tony won't have it, and that's good.
It's a beautiful thing. Shannon Young, also good, really good at his job, really committed at his job. Now in 7 states, Florida, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolina. Go to loansforknowles.com. That's loansforknowles.com. Make it happen. Get that loan. Get your house, your dream house. He'll make it happen. Loansforknowles.com.
Your local news now.
A man is in the hospital after crashing into a smoke. Daley was elected mayor in 2018. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Cloudy skies expected this afternoon with a chance of thunderstorms. Highs level off around 91, winds out of the south 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance of thunderstorms tonight. Lows level off around 76. Partly cloudy skies. Storms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 92. Partly cloudy skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 91 degrees.
Feeling sluggish? Wake up your body the right way with Vigor. The all-new Vigor Cold Plunge Tub from Hot Spring Spas is now available exclusively at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee. Boost circulation, reduce inflammation, sharpen your focus, and more. Elite athletes do it daily, and now you can too. Experience the power of cold therapy in your own home. Come see the Vigor Cold Plunge, available only at Pinch a Penny on Capitol Circle Northeast and Greer Road.
Tired of watching baseball score updates on your phone? Get off the bench and head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is your home for all MLB games in-state or nationwide. Enjoy the coldest drinks, Tallahassee's best wings, and watch your team in crystal clear comfort. And if you'd like to compete, come by Tuesday nights for CP trivia and Thursday nights for beer bingo, where you can walk home with cold, hard cash. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
My first call ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going out to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I didn't miss any more of the that couch leather looks like it is made of the same material they wrapped up the GIMP with in Pulp Fiction. Oh, man. That does look like that material.
Bring out the GIMP.
Pulled tight. That's an uncomfortable scene.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a great scene, but it's uncomfortable.
And I remember the first time I saw that movie, I was in freshman year of college, and I thought, well, this is going to go somewhere I don't expect. And it still blew my mind because obviously what happens, happens.
Man.
Like, oh my God. I did not see that being the next plot piece.
You didn't first guess the
No, I think this is where the innocence of being 18 probably kicked in a little bit. Now, I did see the movies in proper order, though, because Reservoir Dogs came out first.
Yes.
That horrified the hell out of me, the Steelers wheel scene. I
loved it.
I was 16 when I saw that, and I was watching with two of my friends, one of which went on to play D1 football. And all three of us were horrified. I looked at them thinking,
when he's cutting the ear off, you were horrified?
Yes, absolutely. That somebody could be that sinister? Absolutely.
I remember laughing. Rest in peace, Mr. Madsen. I remember laughing because I thought, that is incredible. That's an incredible choice.
Well, you were 21 when it came out.
Yeah, I loved it. I remember that was funny. He said, by the way, about that scene that he approached what's his face?
Quentin.
And said, yeah, he approached Quentin and said, you know, I don't know how to get there with this. I don't know what you want me to do. And he was like, well, what would the character do? What would he do in this situation? He's like, well, I know it'd be something sinister and be terrible. And Quentin's notorious for the way he writes his scripts. They're very specific. So the scene did call for him to be tortured.
Yeah, and dance during the music.
But he couldn't find the song, and then the song, he found it, and he was like, this is it. I can do this now. And it's so funny because it's rhythmic. It's like the torture's going to happen to the beat. So like, we're good. And he's just...
I remember looking around the room, and thank God everybody around me felt the same way. I was like, what is this? Like, not only the shock value.
Well, then when he talks into the ear after he cuts it off.
It's
great.
It's something that I fast forward through now.
This is not a knock. There are scenes I can't watch anymore that I used to love, and there are scenes that I can now watch that I couldn't watch, and all kinds of things. Our sensibilities change for various reasons, and I don't mean that as a knock. Like horror films don't do anything for me anymore. I can't really watch them. It just seems
pointless.
Here's the thing about a great horror movie that has to be in place. There has to be real intrigue and doubt and fear and uncertainty there has to be some sort of element of a plot beyond just somebody's going to get stabbed in the chest.
Yeah, it needs to be a thriller. Like a horror film to me is cartoonish, gratuitous, whatever, for the sake of that and only that.
Gratuitous is the right word. That genre is filled with gratuitous violence, but there are ones that are violent for a reason that work.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. What I'm saying is Hannibal Lecter is that.
Oh, that's smart. That's a thriller.
That's a thriller.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm in for that because that's grounded in reality. If you're trying to go supernatural and a guy in a hockey mask somehow comes back from being burned alive in the sequel, I'm like, you've already played the hits, man. It's like going to see Taken 2 in the movie theaters. Like, I've seen Taken. I know what's about to happen. Daughter's going to get snatched. Oh, it's his wife this time.
Have you ever seen Bone Tomahawk?
No.
Good.
What is that?
Kurt Russell's in it.
Is it a horror film?
No, it's a Western. It's a horror film that's a Western, is another way of saying it. You'd like it. You just get it. You got to be ready. There's some things, man. You're going to be like, what in the world? Small town sheriff, which has been done a million times, right? But they get into this desolate region, and
Hey, man, it's not to say that I don't have guilty pleasure movies. I will watch a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. They're all the same. I will watch it. And I enjoy it. Lionheart is the same as Bloodsport. It's just one's inner city and he's a French Legionnaire. That's all.
I have watched every I Survived. Sexy Rodriguez. I've watched every single one of I Survived. I saw one the other day in which this plane, it's a little twin engine thing. He's flying over Lake Huron, I think, and he crashes it in the middle of the lake. It got iced over. He screwed it up. He didn't defrost before hitting some switch. The point is, he is just freaking floating out in this massive lake, and nobody knows where he is, and he's going to freeze to death or drown, and he's got some tough decisions to make. And I thought, okay, I can see myself in this situation, not happy. It's amazing how far people can swim when they have to. This guy swims like 5 miles, heavy currents. But here's the part.
He didn't leave anything for the swim back.
Great use. Great use.
Yep.
One of my favorites. He swims all the way. He can see the effing shore, and current drags him back to where he was after swimming all night. Oh, jeez. I thought, man, I don't know. That's this flare in the throat. We're done here. They always have a flare.
That's where you have respect for French in The Departed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Time's up.
Time's up. Yeah, we're done here. We are done here. But I watched it. And I thought, oh, this poor bastard. A lot of times I watch it, you're just like, I don't know, man. You're questioning the person's decision-making, and you're wondering what you would do in that same situation. Others, you're like, I can't even relate to this. I would never be in that position. But then there's just the sheer, oh, this poor man or this poor woman. Like, this is ridiculous. You survive a crocodile attack. Your arm got ripped off. Now, first of all, I wouldn't be anywhere in which there was a crocodile. Not on the body of water, anyhow. I mean, that's the closest thing to a living dinosaur that we have. They're insane, and they're massive, way bigger than alligators, and they're mean as hell.
That is correct. Big difference.
Big, mean, no chance, not doing, and it's a bad death. It's a bad death.
There is.
What are you going to do? You're in their element. They're coming for you. You hear it. You see it. Like, look at this. Oh, my God. They grab you. They drag you down. Just hold you underneath.
You just got to sing a song, until it's over.
Komodo dragon, good call. Yeah, no thanks. Oh, okay.
That's a good scene. The Komodo dragon and the freshman in the airplane hangar.
Yeah, that's not good. Not what you want. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.